there, Chrissy. I see you're finally awake, caught in that Imperial ambush just like the rest of us. Ah ha 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 ha. Who the fuck are you? Ah! You're tearing me apart, Chrissy! Here, play this game. I'm fed up with this world. Oh, hi, doggy. Well, that was a weird dream. Or was it? Hello and welcome back. As you could probably guess from that intro, if you weren't too distracted by all the weird The Room references, today I'm reviewing Skyrim. More specifically, it's the Switch port, meaning yes to the DLCs released later down the line, but no to any of the community graphic upgrades, mods or weird porn mods. Which is a positive or a negative depending on who you ask. But hey, this review's late as it is, so might as well get on with it. The story starts in a very similar way to how this review started. Someone waking up on board a cart heading towards their execution. Apparently the reason your character is being executed is for being caught crossing the border. Geez, sometimes I wish the immigration policy in this country was that strict. After seeing a couple of the prisoners being executed by the Imperials, you're then next up where you briefly take a break to customise your character! After that brief diversion, though, you're next up to be on the chopping block. But before the axe can come down, the bloody great dragon comes the fuck out of nowhere and sets ablaze the entire town. You escape with the help of a member of a rebel group, and after deciding of whether to help him get rid of an Imperial soldier or side with the Imperial and get rid of him, you escape down a tunnel below the town, escape through another town, before arriving at the city of Whiterun. You inform the leader of the city, called a Jarl, that the dragons have returned. You then help his troops out to slay a dragon that's nearby. After slaying said dragon, you somehow manage to absorb its soul, revealing that you are the Dovahkiin, or in English, Dragonborn, a special individual blessed with a dragon's soul by the dragon god of time Akatosh, who is able to absorb the souls of dragons. You're then thanked by the Jarl for helping out, and you then receive a message from a mysterious group called the Greybeards, asking you to visit them in their monastery atop a giant mountain called the Throat of the World. Once you arrive there, they inform you that they wish to help you in your crusade against the dragons by teaching you the way of the dragon tongue called the Thum, and the magical powers that it holds. After finishing your training and retrieving an artifact for the Greybeards, you then meet up with the Greybeards' leader, a good dragon by the name of Paarthurnax. And talking to this dragon is kind of weird because he's voiced by Charles Martinet, who's the main voice actor for Mario, but he's doing a voice that sounds eerily like Optimus Prime. Made even weirder by the fact that on one occasion the voice of Optimus Prime, Peter Cullen, voiced a version of Mario. Jeez, this is so weird that it completely sidetracked my review for a minute. Paarthurnax informs you that the dragon you saw at the beginning of the game, and the one that has been resurrecting all the other dragons, is none other than Alduin, firstborn of Akatosh, former master of Paarthurnax, and bearer of the ominous title of World Eater. Funny, seems a bit small for a World Eater. You are sent off by Paarthurnax to find the eponymous Elder Scroll that the series is named after, and use it to gaze back in time and learn the ancient forgotten dragon shout called Dragonrend that you can use to hopefully defeat Alduin. You find the Elder Scroll in a forgotten Dwemer ruin, return it to Paarthurnax, look back in time and learn the Dragonrend, and alongside Paarthurnax then fight Alduin. But before you can deliver the finishing blow, Alduin decides to pull a Cartman.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
But it's not over yet, as you now need to figure out a way to find where Alduin's gone. And the best way to do this is by capturing one of his dragons and asking them where he is. So you return to Run, use an ancient dragon trap that's there for lore reasons, and manage to capture a dragon by the name of Odoving. Odoving explains that Alduin has gone to the afterlife of Sovngarde, essentially Valhalla but with a different name. Unfortunately, being in the afterlife means the only way you can get there is if you're dead. However, Odoving informs you that there is another way to get to Sovngarde, a portal. But the portal can only be accessed by dragons, and since Parthenax isn't exactly spry nowadays, you make a negotiation with Odoving to release him in exchange for him giving you a lift. After arriving in Sovngarde, you are informed by the resident spirits that Alduin is slowly regaining his power by consuming the souls of those long dead. So you decide to rally up a force of those of Skyrim's past to help fight Alduin and manage to kill him. Although it is implied that he might come back at a later point in time, but by then your character will probably be long dead, so not your problem. And despite there being no end credits, that is essentially the end of the game's main campaign. The game is one of those open world adventure types. Although unique to this, it has the ability to switch between first person and third person of just the click of a button. Oh, and it also has some RPG elements. You can choose between several different races to play as that have a lot of customization options, and you can travel around the land picking up any weapons, items, potions and other miscellaneous items. Although don't pick up too many of them, because this game has a weight-based system and they can essentially drag you down if you're carrying too many items. But you can increase your carrying capacity by leveling up your stamina. And you can also level up your health and magic meter via the same method. Leveling up also allows you to select a certain skill to upgrade, and you can gain points from those skills by essentially doing those things. For example, mining gives you mining skill points. Fighting with one-handed sword or two-handed swords give you one-handed weapon skill points or two-handed weapon skill points. Sneaking gives you sneaking skill points, stuff like that. The game has an absurd amount of side quests as well as factions to join, places to explore, DLCs to play, as well as other sort of side activities like building a house, getting married, adopting a family, or deliberately pissing off a giant and seeing how far it flings you. However, the game's physics are a bit off, and at points so wonky that you swear this game was developed in Gary's mod. However, I find one of the more underwhelming aspects of the game is the combat. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but it's a bit underwhelming. Just your standard attack, your enemy attacks back. Keep doing that. Occasionally heal yourself or block your enemy attacks. And hope they die before you do. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of different ways to do it, but essentially just feels like slight deviations of the same thing. The graphics hold up pretty well for a game that's almost 10 years old, and some of it is still awe-inspiring to this day, and that's in spite of all the graphical upgrades and mods that people have made. The music's really good too, when it's actually there. Don't get me wrong, I think it's good that they save the music for when it's absolutely needed, but for a game that has such a good soundtrack, it's a shame that you spend most of the game not hearing it. While this game has issues and shortcomings, and glitches. Lots and lots of glitches. Overall, I say it holds up pretty well. And while it has been released numerous times over multiple platforms, I still think it's earned its place in the Gaming Hall of Fame. Well, that's all from me. See you guys next time. All this work and I still can't find the Man of Sorrows. If only there was some way of getting into his head, knowing something about him. Huh? Wait. What's this? After that brief diversion, you're then next up for the Following that brief diversion, you're next up on the chopping. After that brief diversion, you're next up on the chopping block. After that brief diversion, you're next up on the chopping. A good dragon by the name of fuck. After arriving in Sovngarde, you invoiced by but you can increase your carrying